Drawing on its own is already a pretty difficult subject, and there are some topics that are even harder to draw than usual. And one of the toughest ones to do properly is the human head. There's so much detail and it's compact into this little area. So if you want to work on your head drawing skills, keep watching. I'll show you some very useful methods I use to break down the shapes of the head, combine them back together to really simplify the whole process and make it a lot more straightforward. Let's get into it. First off, as usual, obviously, you start off with a circle. Try and draw as perfect of a circle as possible, but if it's not like fully spherical or symmetrical, it's fine, don't worry about it. Then draw a line going through it vertically, straight down the middle. And before I keep going really quickly, if you are wondering, this method is called the Loomis method. It's super famous, you've probably already heard of it. I'm just gonna leave a sort of diagram of it in the right hand corner just for extra reference if you need it. Alright, back to the method. You have the circle. I want you to divide it now in half, and then you will take the length of one of these halves and then you add it to the bottom so that you have a chin. So now you have a third on the bottom, sort of mid third that will be between your eyebrows and the bottom of your nose, and then this upper third that's just from the eyebrows to the hairline. These thirds can vary, and they almost always do vary on people, but this is the sort of general formula that we use. And that's pretty much it for the Loomis method. It's just a really nice way to proportion out your head, but it doesn't really leave us with much detail. That's why we're going to use the work of George Bridgman to divide the head into some sharper angles to really get some more information out of this and get a nicer sort of working area to start from. My first step is I will try to draw out where the eyebrows are kind of, not the eyebrows, sorry, the eyeballs are kind of sunken into the head a little bit. So what I do, I'll go to the line where the eyebrows will be, and then I go down halfway to the line of where the bottom of the nose will be, so halfway there, and I just draw a line there. Next up are the cheekbones. Let's just make a nice sharp angle to simplify the shape. So go between the line that I just drew for that eyelid area or eyeball area, and from the bottom of the nose line sort of thing, and find the halfway point and just draw a nice sort of jutting V line there. For the forehead plane, go from from that line that I drew for the eyeball area, go from that vertical line and then just keep going straight up and then gently curve it in to the top of the sphere. Let's go back to the cheekbones real quick. If you want to draw that sort of indent you get from the cheekbones, you can look at this example right here. Just go from this V line all the way down and guesstimate where you'd want it to end. That's a tad bit of a simplification. If you want to make it a bit more realistic, instead of a straight line, just curve that line and make it curve inward to the center of the face. To block out the nose, go out to the vertical center line, go out a little bit on each side, just make sure it's a decently equal symmetrical distance from on both ends. Go down to 2/3 of the way down from the top of the head to the bottom, which is that bottom of the nose line, and put a nice little trapezoid shape at the bottom, which is the underside of the nose, and then two rectangular shapes on the sides to show, well, the sides of the nose. And that is pretty much how you draw a very simplified Bridgman head. You can see we've done pretty much that one right on the bottom, the simplest one. And this is the main principle of this method. You can keep adding more stuff, but we have the main sharp angles. More stuff is just going to keep adding sharp angles until eventually it's all smooth like a real person's head. So you just keep going from here. I will show you a bit more of the method, how to draw the lips and whatnot, but this is the main stuff that you need. To keep adding really easy detail, just add little bumps, curves, undulations. For example, say in the jaw. Obviously nobody's jaw is like completely sharp like that, so you could add some bumps to show where your jaw muscle, like that master muscle, will be, and then after that it'll curve in a little bit. You can add really whatever changes you want as long as they aren't harsh, like too crazy out of this world looking, and as long as they're more or less decently symmetrical. And then not just the jaw, you can go up and then draw that sort of indentation on the eye area. You can draw some bumps on the forehead. They're not really bumps, they're just how the forehead looks naturally, but without it, the head will look incredibly boring and robotic. And that is pretty much it for this method. It combines two very simple methods which are perfect for beginners. And from this stuff, you can add on so much more, and it's really easy to add more stuff because this foundation is amazing. This guy does look a little bit weird. You'll see I'll try to finish it off a little, add some shading. I kind of did like sculpt him from marble, if you get what I mean. Perfect angles everywhere, and he's also bald. But that can happen pretty often when you're trying to draw sort of default head using a method, so there's that. That's all for today. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Check out the rest of the channel if you like this sort of stuff. And as usual, more content to come. See you guys in around a week or so.